Absolutely. There's a template here. I mean, the violence is outrageous. The show your papers is outrageous. I'm deeply concerned about what they're doing to journalists that are not with the government agenda. I can't believe they actually shot our reporter. But I think what is a graver and far-reaching threat is that of the social credit style approach to punishing anyone with the wrong opinions. Justin Trudeau has cleared the streets. That was not hard to do. There weren't that many trucks. But he's persisting with his emergency powers so he can seize and freeze bank accounts of anyone who's in his opposition without going to court. The police literally tell the banks which accounts to freeze, and they do it.
Hey, MCE crew, what we're starting to see more and more of in the so-called Western democracies is these governments turning their militaries and law enforcement apparatus against the people, the regular people, okay? We're starting to see more and more of that, unfortunately. Look, we saw it in Australia first.
There's no legal recourse, and you're in fact banned from suing. So what that means is, if there's someone who's merely accused of supporting the truckers, maybe you chipped in $50 to their crowd fund, maybe you walked alongside their trucks one day, your entire family bank account is frozen. So not just you, but your wife and your kids can't get money for groceries or rent or gas, and there is no legal appeal. That is exactly the Chinese social credit system, and that could come to America just as easy as the rest of the martial law.
So, in this country, we're starting to see this developing trend in the West of governments saying, you know, we understand that you think you have freedom, but in fact, that's just this little concept we use to keep you pacified while you go about being a battery in the society. And you go to work, you produce your sprocket or your, your widget or whatever you do, whatever it is you do. Then you engage in entertainment, whatever it is you like to do, organized sports, maybe bar hopping, you're into the NFL or some stuff like that. But don't make any waves. And furthermore, do what the hell we say do, or we'll separate you from your income. Now, we just saw that. The United States of America said, you will not work if you don't do what we say with a specific job requirement. Now, I'm used to job requirements like, hey, when you go in there, don't forget, wear your hard hat. I've seen job requirements like that. Or, hey, when I was young and in high school, you got to come in here and work for McDonald's. You got to wear your uniform, including the paper hat. Had to do it, okay? But the minute I left McDonald's, I could take the paper hat off, okay? The minute I left, some controlled environmental vault, when I used to work in the telecom field, I could take the hard hat off, okay? I didn't have to go home with it. But the edicts that the government is putting down today say that, hey, you got to get this in order to work. And yeah, we don't quite know what the outcome of it might be 5 years from now. And yeah. Oh yeah, they can still lay you off if they need to. No, don't think that, this binds you to them in any way. Okay. Yeah, you got to go home with it. Okay. So it's not like the hard hat. The United States government has told you that.
Given the fact that both Biden and Trudeau, over the course of, really separated by only 6 days, extended their emergency authority when COVID is petering out, what does this tell you?
Well, it's what we've seen for the last 2 years, where we've had this amazing constraining of freedoms in this country and other Western countries. And what we're watching happen in Canada is horrifying on its own merits, but also because we know that this is what the regime wants to do here as well. And there are multiple problems with it. The seizing of these bank accounts is done in complete violation of presumption of innocence, and that's something that both Canada and our country share. Is a belief is we say that you have the right to be presumed innocent. That's not happening here. But if you don't have the right to make financial transactions, you don't have any rights at all. You don't have freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of religion. You don't have freedom to protest. This is a direct assault on democratic republics. And from the very same people who claim that they're out to save democracy, these are where the assaults are coming from. These authoritarian tyrants who are cracking down on natural rights that we all have.
We got Canada. We just saw him, Trudeau, the bastard son of Fidel Castro. We just saw him take a heavy-handed approach to the protest up there and basically say, okay, the way I'm going to break this up, the way I'm going to quash this is I'm going to destroy these people financially. I'm going to seize their bank accounts. And this is the idiocy of the banks. If I find out that any bank that I'm dealing with has participated in such, I will, the next business day, withdraw every single dime. I will roll over any qualified accounts I have with them. Whatever I have to do, I'll get the hell away from them quick, fast, in a hurry. Because what these banks should have done is say, hey, whoa, hold on. You guys are just writing edicts here. And, we have a customer base. You're actually calling your own citizens terrorists. Is this something you really want to do? And, if you really want to do that, why don't you take it all the way up to your legislature, the House of Parliament or whatever, and then see if it sticks there. And after you take it to your Supreme Court, then, get back to us. But let cooler heads prevail. Okay, let the legislative process and the legal process run its course. But no, the banks just were like, hey, we're with it. Hey, we know we didn't stop Jeffrey Epstein and everything that he was doing, but we'll get into these truckers, man. We'll stop them. We'll stop this guy who lives in his damn truck, okay, and also helps support the Canadian economy by running freight to and fro in this godforsaken frozen wasteland, okay. We'll attack him. This is what these banks have done. So we got a convoy headed down to D.C. right about now, and they're headed there, scheduled to get there just about time for the State of the Union. Now, I'm asking all law enforcement officers out there, don't play games. Come on. You are blue collar as these truckers are, okay? Don't mistake your position of authority as a kinship with these crooked politicians and policymakers that are giving you these orders to maybe interfere with these people as they come in their convoy across the nation. I don't think that any law enforcement officer in the United States of America worth his or her salt would do that. But you never know, because you did see law enforcement in Canada using a riot horse to stomp on the face of a disabled woman. You did see that with your own eyes. Now, of course, they'll come out and they'll explain that away and tell us how actually it was the crippled woman who attacked the hoof of the horse with her face, okay, and how she'll be charged for that, by the way. So what are you going to believe? Your lying eyes or the press release from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police? So another thing is, as these truckers make their way across the United States, they're going to make a statement here, and they're saying they're going to, probably tie up 495 Beltway. Well, guess what, guys? The 495 Beltway is tied up all the time anyway. So we're not going to notice much difference there. But if you can get into D.C. and start honking those horns, and we can hear that during the State of the Union, that would be awesome. Because a small business needs to strike back and let these policymakers know that, hey, yeah, you're up in here writing laws and stuff that affect our economy and our ability to do business. But at the end of the day, if we just don't deliver, then the economy comes to a screeching halt in every way, shape, and form. This is a consumer economy. This is an economy that is totally reliant on you ordering from Amazon. It's an economy that's totally reliant on you being able to get up and go to Target, Walmart, purchase cheap Chinese goods that were shipped here and brought to that store by truck. If you can't do that, commerce comes to a grinding halt. So What I was saying with regard to the predilection for governments now to turn their militaries against the people to quash economic freedom, okay? And this convoy is an example of economic freedom because they're going down there to make a statement. They don't have fancy-ass lobbyists, okay, in $2,000 suits that are going to go down and, advocate on their behalf, okay? They're just saying, hey, look, we're just going to go down there ourselves and petition our government in a peaceful way. So, the Washington, D.C. National Guard is ratcheting up preparations for the forthcoming trucker protest, set to begin on Tuesday, that's today, the 22nd of February, as a new group of roughly 1,000 truckers, dubbed the People's Convoy, makes its way to the nation's capital in protest of mandates. Now, there are some interesting pieces in here that I want to quickly go over with you. There's a representative. He's a Democrat from Virginia. And now this Representative Bayer is Beyer. He's saying that the convoy in D.C. would be, quote, a disaster, would be a, quote, disaster and very unwelcome, unquote. So these small business owners that are the backbone of commerce in America are unwelcome, according to Bayer, Democrat from Virginia. Now, how much do you want to bet if I called him and I pretended to be a representative from Amazon? How much you want to bet I'd be very welcomed in his office? Oh, come on down. Let's talk. What do you need? Because, see, he'd probably be expecting some sort of fat campaign contribution. So I'm sure he'd welcome Jeff Bezos's, squad. I'm sure he would. Or any other, big business interest. Oh, Jamie Dimon up at, JP Morgan. Oh, I bet he'd answer the phone for him quick, fast, in a hurry. If Jamie Dimon called that man right now, and I'm recording this at 6:34 in the evening, I could record it at 2:34 a.m. If Jamie Dimon called that man, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, he'd answer the damn phone at 2:30 a.m., okay? But these truckers are unwelcome. You guys got to start remembering this stuff when you go to the voting booth, okay? These are the kind of people you got down there representing you. These truckers have more in common, socioeconomically, with every other American than, most Americans, that is, than they do the Trudeaus, the Bidens, or the Bayers of the world. Now, I did want to end it out with this. On Friday, the U.S. Capitol Police issued a press release that said they're closely coordinating with entities which include the D.C. National Guard ahead of the expected convoy. Look at all these agencies coming together to, what they're going to do. They coming in here to what, that First Amendment thing? Come on, man, let's assemble, just in case. Because God knows we don't want another January 6th where we had, just horrendous bloodshed and the city was burnt. Oh, no, that didn't happen, by the way, right? But the U.S. Capitol Police, they go on to say, and this is from their statement, law enforcement agencies across the National Capital Region are aware of the plans for a series of truck convoys arriving in Washington, D.C. around the time of the State of the Union. As with any demonstration, the U.S. Capitol Police will facilitate lawful First Amendment activity. I got a problem with that statement. You don't facilitate lawful First Amendment activity. You don't make that possible, U.S. Capitol Police. Yeah, I can see you guys coming into play if there's some illegal activity going on. But what do you mean you facilitate? The U.S. Capitol Police facilitates First Amendment activity. No, actually, that's a document called the Constitution and a little part called the Bill of Rights, okay? That's what actually facilitates our God-given, okay, it doesn't grant us this right, it just, codifies it, our God-given right to freely express ourselves and to petition our government for redress. So, yeah, these vehicles can come down there and they can, do like every other group that comes down to D.C. and has something to say. I used to work there. There was somebody protesting in D.C. at least twice a week. Okay, now these big events were rarer, but yeah, D.C. is crowded with protesters all the time. So now we see the government looking askance. They're going to try to blow this thing up, and I'm sure if you watch the news, which I don't, they'll have some quotes on there about January 6th and trying to compare this to that. Understand that this trucker convoy, this isn't exclusive to one political ideology, okay? You've got the entire political spectrum that owns trucks and trucking companies, okay? And they're going down there petitioning the government for redress to stay out of their financial matters. Trucking is already regulated heavily enough, okay, as it should. You don't get to regulate what a person does with their number one asset, okay, with their number one asset. This is the only asset of this nature that we get, and it facilitates our acquisition of every other asset that we could ever even imagine, you know, coming into possession of at any point. So we'll keep monitoring this type of thing, man, and I hope we start to see less of it. But let's just be cognizant of the fact that government is asserting itself these days in such a way that they want to interfere with your ability to generate revenue, because they want to use that as a cudgel, okay, to get you to do whatever they want you to do. It's tyranny. That's what it is, economic or otherwise. If they interfere with your ability to generate revenue, how else can you be free other than to live like Grizzly Adams in a, you know, cabin you built yourself up in the wilds of Alaska? Okay, we want economic independence. We're striving for that. One of the ways we engage in that activity and secure that is by ownership of our own businesses. These truckers coming down here, many of them own jobs. Okay, they can't not drive or else they're not going to make money. But many of them own those businesses. Okay, they own fleets. More power to them. Okay, but just stay out of DC in the coming weeks, because it's going to be a traffic nightmare like you've never encountered before. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. To learn more about how you can achieve financial independence, check out these videos we recently posted on the Money Changes Everything channel.